forget that in a democracy, it's the constituents who really matter, and that our, we have to remind ourselves and our public servants that that they should answer to us. And so we really getting constituents together in a room with their political leaders, with labor leaders, with community members, to have a discussion, get your questions answered, for them to have a chance to communicate to you what they need communicated. That's really what's at the heart of this project here. And so and it's easy to lose sight of that. And the way to make sure that process continues is to be organized. And so that's why you see around the room here we've got QR codes. You can scan the QR code to get your information in there, so that as we continue to do this, as this coalition continues to grow, you can keep plugged in with what we're doing and maybe get involved if you're inclined. And also, if you don't like scanning QR codes and using the internet, there's a paper sign up back there. You should have seen it on the way in. To kick things off, we're going to start with introductions. I'll give each of the panelists 3 minutes to introduce themselves and make a statement. And then we'll go to, we prepared some questions in advance to kind of warm things up, get you all thinking about what you want to ask, and also give our panelists a chance to just to get warmed up a little bit. We want to keep introductions and the pre-prepared questions to a minimum, so that way we can maximize the amount of times that you all have for questions. So in the back of the room, Daniel will be keeping time. He's got, for the panelists, he's got a yellow sign for 30 seconds, excuse me, and red for stop. So that way we can kind of keep on track. And when we get to the audience questions, we won't be too strict with the timekeeping, but we will try and keep things moving. So, and just a word on decorum. We want to, our panelists, thank you all for taking your time out to come do this, and we do want to keep things civil and respectable. There's a broad variety of perspectives up here on the table, up on the dais, and I'm sure there are, plenty of opinions and feelings in the room, and so I urge you to express those by when you have the floor in the form of a question, rather than heckling or yelling or anything like that. So let's just start down here with Andy. If you want to take 3 minutes to introduce yourself and make a statement.
My name's Andy Sanchez. I'm with the Kansas State AFL-CIO. I'm the executive secretary treasurer there. Been there since probably 2007 or 8, quite some time. Before that, I was with CAPE, an AFT affiliate. So I've been doing union work under the State House Dome for quite some time. I believe I started lobbying and going to the State House in 2000. And that was primarily for public employees, state, city, county. So we were always watching the state budget and making sure state employees were made whole with raises and the CAPER's retirement and a number of other workplace issues that is considered to be union work. But in my previous life, I was an electrician, so I came right through the apprenticeship program at this local union. So eventually I made it to the AFL-CIO because of that, and I represent the building trades. If you know our logo, it's 2 handshakes, and it's industrial unions, which is primarily manufacturing, and the other handshake is building and construction trades. So I come from that side. And continue to lobby at the State House, work on workplace issues, economic development, very important to us, and just a number of other things that come up. But I'm glad you all are here. Really appreciate your presence caring about our community. And that goes not just Topeka, but statewide. We're a statewide organization and represent a number of unions. Probably around 60,000, 70,000 folks. Some are under a bargaining unit contract and some are not. So we're in a right to work state, and that's why that is. We probably have about 34,000 that are actual dues paying members within all across the spectrum. White collar, blue collar, nurses, teachers, you name it. So I'm proud to be a part of the organized labor movement in Kansas, and we have a lot of issues that we care about, and I'm glad to see you here.
Thank you so much.
Chair Griffin, go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And my son, who's in high school, is going to start the program for carpentry at Washburn Tech and then possibly do this internship here to be an electrician. He is looking into that apprenticeship opportunity down the years, and we've heard is fantastic. So love that. That's wonderful. Well, yes, thank you, Daniel, for inviting me. Thank you for all coming out today. I hope we have a wonderful discussion, and I appreciate this opportunity. Being currently serving as the chairwoman for the Shawnee County Republican Party, I'm particularly focused on local issues. And this being a year of local elections, that's really where my focus is. And I want to see people elected into these local offices, whether they're Republican affiliation or not, but people that believe in, well, what I call the Republican bent, and that is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life for all ages and abilities, liberty to protect individual freedoms, as in the slogan, you matter, and the pursuit of happiness, which includes keeping more of what you earn, so we create wealth. Of particular interest to me right now is the Topeka City Council race. I would like to see the Topeka City Council stay more in their lane with spending, as opposed to picking winners and losers for private sector endeavors. I'm very much against what I see as benefiting the private sector, picking them out, and what some have called, well, just extra help for those who are already rich. I'm very much against that. I want to see the city focus more on those core functions, which would be infrastructure, of course, roads, and...
Could you speak up a little bit more?
Sure,
And
sure.
what's your name?
Lanell Griffith. Yes, like the Andy Griffith Show. Yeah, exactly. So maybe I'll stand. Will that help a little bit? So anyway, I want to see the city of Topeka really focus on roads and those water mains, fixing that, as opposed to spending our tax dollars on extra projects, what I call the cherry on top. I was kind of for it in the beginning with sales tax dollars in the name of economic development, but really as I've heard people be so concerned about it being taxed out of their homes with their property taxes, I'm like, let's shift around some of these budget items, the buckets as they call it, so that we can focus on those core functions, which really include our roads and water mains, and let individuals stay in their homes, afford their medicines, make life more affordable, because as we make Topeka a more and more affordable and safe place to live, I believe that's what will draw people here, and I'm out of time. Thank you.
Go ahead, Chair Griffin.
Sure. Hi, my name is Danedri, and I'm the state party chair for the Kansas Republican Party. So I guess one of the reasons I love living in America in general is that I have the opportunity to serve. As the state party Kansas chair, I grew up in Gardner, Kansas, which was really southwest Johnson County. It was really small when I was growing up. When I graduated from high school, there were 4,000 people, and now there's 25,000 people. It's not the same town, so I still live there, next door to my parents and with my husband, who is a first sergeant in the U.S. Army. I once won, thing that's interesting about me is I once won $50 for being the most average American, and I'm featured in a book called I'm actually featured in a 2012 book called The Average American, The Extraordinary search for the nation's most ordinary citizen. I don't know that I won, but being featured in the book, I feel like I'm a good representative of the common man, if you will. I'm actually a reformed journalist. I spent several years as the editor of the Gardner News in Gardner, Kansas. I also wrote a regularly appearing column in the Kansas City Star for a little over a decade. I've also written a ton of ghost columns for U.S. citizens, soccer moms. Like, if you want a column written, I'm happy to do it if you pay me, and I'll let you put your byline on it. I currently work as the communications director for Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach. I will be honest, I am a unabashed partisan Republican because I believe that our party's view of America represents the common man and what we need to do to make every individual successful. So I hope you're not offended when I sound like a partisan. I'll just warn you up front, I am. And that's one reason I ran. One of the extraordinary things about getting to be the chair of the state party, and I didn't know this when I ran, is that I get to serve as a member of the Republican National Committee, and it means I get to talk to the White House Political Council and really important people, and I've been able to help some of our Republicans do some things that they needed to do through those avenues. It's been an extraordinary extra bit of little extra for the job. But my primary goal is to get Kansas Republicans elected, and Kansas has a long and proud Republican history. It's one of the things I'm most proud of as a Kansan in general. The Republican Party in Kansas wouldn't exist except for our anti-slavery settlers, which is it's one of the things that I find most moving about being a Kansan. I will let it go at that. I'll just say that some of my Kansas history includes my father's family, who are exodusters. If you don't know what an exoduster is, I highly encourage you to go look it up. It's a fascinating piece of Kansas history. We live in the best state in the nation. We live in the best country in the world, and I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
Senator?
My name is Titus. I am the state senator for the 18th district, so that includes all of Shawnee County north of the river, and then a little cutout from Gage down to 10th Street and over to the county line. I also represent all of Pottawatomie County and about 2/3 of southern Jefferson County. So I'm in my first term in the Senate. I previously represented the 51st House District for one term as well. Before that, I was the chief attorney at the Kansas Department of Agriculture, where I worked in water law and regulatory issues. I worked for several other state agencies, Attorney General Derek Schmidt, and for the Kansas Department of Transportation. Before that, before law school, I was a radio broadcaster where I did news and sports in several places across Kansas. And yeah, I live in Wamego right now with my wife, Kara. We have 2 sons, age 6 and 7, and you know, with the issues I think we'll end up talking about today that I'll focus on, one of the reasons I got involved was I was concerned there wasn't enough emphasis on sort of young families, middle class, working class people trying to get started and work through systems like child care and affordable housing. And I just saw that there wasn't a lot of emphasis in the right places, and thought, given my stage in life, there was some perspective I could add to that. So I got involved, and here I am 3 years later. So appreciate the opportunity to visit with everyone tonight.
So cool people in the back, should we stand up or stand up? So, I'm a professor at Baker University, so I know where the cool people sit. It's all in the back of the classroom, so that's why I call that. My name is Representative Kirk Haskins. I am the representative for House District 53 on the west side of Topeka. You take the river down Gage all the way to the highway over to Yurish and back up. I do have the governor's mansion in my district, but you cannot canvass or knock on her door. Please come. This is my 3rd year, 2nd term at the State House, and had the privilege of serving with Senator Titus. I'd like to also point out that Representative Virgil Weigel is here too, and we are having a good time in the State House, to be a little bit positive. I started off with a little bit of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington view, and now that I know how it really runs, I have a better focus on what we can and can't get done there, at least on the minority side. So I'm happy to answer your questions and see how we can make this a shift. About myself is, as I mentioned, I'm a professor at Baker University, been there for about 7 years. I teach management. I have a bachelor's degree from Washington University. I'm from Topeka, public educated. I had a degree, a master's degree from Wichita State, and a doctorate degree from the University of Kansas. And I did have a really fun semester at K-State, so much fun that I had to transfer back to Washburn. But I could be called a Ichabod, a Shocker, a Jayhawk with a sprinkle of Wildcat. So I got it. I'm the ranking member on the State House for Elections Committee, as well as the Joint Committee on Information and Technology, and I serve on the Fed State, I serve on higher ed budget, and I serve on insurance. And I enjoy coming out here. I'm a lifetime Topeka, other than when going to get my master's in Wichita, and been in my district for about 25 years. Also, I am the son of both a state worker as well as a school educator. And they are also in the Kansas State Square Dance Hall of Fame. Maybe you didn't know that existed, but they are. I'm very proud. So I drove all over the state as a child with petticoats on. I'm happy to explain. I was not wearing them, but they were with me. So happy to answer any of your questions you have, and thank you for coming.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason Peters. I am the current chair of the Shawnee County Democrats. Me and my wife moved here probably in about 95, 96, originally from Nebraska, so I'm a Husker. Not one of your things, unfortunately. What else? We have one daughter. She just graduated from Washburn and moved out to Colorado. And we really love Topeka. We've called it our home for most of our lives. I've been involved with local politics for quite a while, mostly organizing, field organizing, recruiting and training precinct committee people, and then also doing what we can to get more Democrats elected in Kansas, including Mr. Haskins here, Representative Haskins. I managed this campaign the first time, so it's fun work.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. If
The
results were different, maybe not.
Right, exactly. So I really don't have a whole lot other to say than I'm really here to listen more than I am to talk, because I really think that a lot of us have more in common than we do not have in common. Unfortunately, the media does their deal to stoke the fire a little bit, and I think that sometimes we lose sight of the fact that we all have similar goals in mind, and that's what's best for our families at the kitchen table. And that's what I'm here to find out and hopefully help start that discussion.
Yes, hello. My name is Chehalis Jones. I am a student at Haskell Nations University, one of the few remaining TCUs in the entire nation. I am a sophomore and I am on Student Government Association as representative for sophomore class. And I have been involved in politics basically as long as I've been alive because my late mother was very involved in politics, and she double majored in American Indian Studies and Government at Dartmouth College, and she also went to Vermont Law School for her degree in environmental law, so she was very heavily involved in politics. And she kind of, viewed that passion with me, and I am very proud to be Indigenous, and I'm very proud to come out here from Haskell Nation University and be the representation for Haskell when so often you don't get to hear an Indigenous perspective a lot of the time. And I'm very happy to be out here, and I'm very happy that all of you come out here too. And so, thank you.
All right, thanks everybody for coming out, and all of you too. So we're going to start off with the pre-planned questions. I'll have 2 questions for each for the Democrats and the Republicans on the panel, and then I'm sorry, not in 2 for your contingent, and then 1 question for Chehalis and 1 for Andy. So to the Republicans on the panel, how do you think that the big beautiful bill will impact us at the state and local level?
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I think we're going to have mixed results at the state and local level. I think there's a lot of good things that are included in that bill. First and foremost is going to be the individual impact for people, because had we seen those tax increases go back up. That would have been a hard hit on families given inflation and the other things that are going on right now. Some of the lower incomes can see losing $2,000, having the standard deduction double on you for the next tax year would be catastrophic to some families given as tight as everything is. There are a number of farm bill provisions that were included that we've been wrangling over for years that are going to help our agricultural producers in our rural areas. So there are positives that needed to get done and that I'm glad that are in there. There's other pieces that are potentially going to have an impact. A lot of the cuts to the social services programs, the Medicaid and the SNAP, a lot of those are phased in over time, so we get some time to ramp up. But from a state perspective, we're going to have to get more efficient in how we deliver our programs. You look at the things with the error rate on the Medicaid payments, it has to come down or the state pays more. We simply have to get more efficient at the executive level. But I think the fundamental problem behind all this is, over the last 30 years, our federal delegation and Congress in particular has left a mess. We can't keep spending ourselves into oblivion and just think it's going to be okay. Every country in the history of the world has done that, has failed. So we have to do something, and the problem is our leaders in Washington have waited so long that now the cuts are difficult. So we have to deal with that on our end as well. We have to get more efficient. We take the good with the bad, and we have a responsibility as state leaders to try and manage that as we prioritize what services we need to provide when things come down the pike.
Democrats, same question.
Let me go first. I think that, you know, the tough thing is we hear everybody saying that they want to help working families, but a lot of these things that are going to happen are really going to affect real working families. A lot of people that are making these laws really don't have a basis in reality of what's going on at that level, because, you know, when they're at that national level, when they get health care for the rest of their lives, or they're not writing or not having to apply for loans for their kids to go to school, I mean, they're going to make Pell Grant changes that are going to affect a lot of people out there. Some people are going to have reduced benefits. Some people are not going to be able to get Pell Grants at all. So I think that it's good to have these conversations, because if we do really want to do what's right for working families, I think that we have to take an honest look at some of these things that are going on out there and just not put any spin on them, but really dig in and find out how it's going to affect us here in Kansas.
We'll go back to the Republicans. Working class voters, rank and file union members, and those below the poverty line have been trending more and more in Republican favor over the last 10 years. Why do you think that is, and what policy changes at the local level can you make to benefit them?
I'll go ahead. I mean, I think some of the things that have brought union members, and I'm a former Teamster, to the Republican side, or having the working class trend in our direction. I mean, if I'm just being honest, I think the thing that won Trump the election and inspired a lot of middle class and working class people was, quite frankly, I think political scientists will tell you, it was his ad that said, "There for them, he's for you." He's delivered the largest tax cut in American history.